Hello friends, welcome back to another delicious Chew and Chat. It is beautiful today here in Missouri territory, Louisiana territory, whatever you want to call it. We're in Missouri.
Early 1800s Missouri.
We have pork roast, potatoes, carrots, and strawberry tarts.
Oh my goodness. Please pardon the fact that there's a half-eaten strawberry tart just sitting here. I had to stop and control myself before I finished the entire thing so that I would have something to eat on camera with you all.
Am I your strawberry tart?
Yeah,
Yes.
I guess.
All right, well, I'm gonna get some of this and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna review it for you guys. We got a lot to talk about. We got house update, we've got stuff about events coming up, and of course we got the cool history and the weird history facts.
And we have food to eat.
And food to eat, the most important part here.
Right. Oh my gosh, I've already tried this. It is so good.
Your plate looks a little empty. You want some more?
Yeah. I would like a lot more. It is so juicy. It is cooked perfectly, and that's so hard to do with pork.
Yes.
Very easy to overcook pork, but that reflector oven has become my life. I feel like everything I put in that thing, I can't possibly ruin it. It makes the meat just perfectly cooked, perfectly juicy, smoky flavor. It's incredible.
I agree.
Oh.
It's just a rotisserie. Everybody knows rotisserie meat is the best meat.
It is the best meat. I am so ready.
You get one more piece here.
Oh, thank you.
We're gonna eat this whole thing.
Yeah, we're gonna eat this whole thing.
Let's see. There's a potato and a carrot. All right.
What's this piece right here?
Oh.
Oh, this.
He got left behind.
That's my piece.
All right. You want to say a grace this week?
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for the company of those that are watching us today. Thank you for our friends, our family, our health. Please protect us from the evil eye of people. And please keep us safe. Thank you for this food. Amen.
Amen. All right, let's eat.
Let's eat and review it.
Oh.
Oh, that's what he said. Is that a human noise?
Mm-mm.
Ah.
That's delicious. It has all of its juice still yet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was hanging, it somehow held on to its juice.
Yeah. The outside is crispy.
It is crispy.
Man.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tender on the inside.
Talking is going to be difficult. Whenever the reflector oven comes out, it's difficult to talk. Because the food is just so good.
I love a good sirloin steak or a good cheeseburger, but I think pork is my favorite all-around meat for all meals, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try a carrot. Melts in your mouth.
It's all melting in your mouth. I'm going to start traveling with this reflector oven.
What about this potato?
I think you'll like that as well. Oh, so good.
This is a cheap meal.
Cheap?
Pork is cheap.
Well, we bought this for $8.
When I say cheap, I mean it's one of the cheap. It's the cheapest roast you can get. It's just a pork butt or pork loin, whatever you want to call it.
Something like that. We could not afford beef.
Or lamb.
No. So we went with this, and I'm happy.
I am too. Good job.
Thank you. Every bite, there's a taste of that rosemary.
Oh, you tied it up with rosemary sprigs in it, right?
You wouldn't think it would work. You'd be like, oh, that ain't really gonna make it taste like rosemary because you only put one piece here, one piece there. But it's like infused in the meat. Well,
I guess there's oils inside the little leaves, the little sprigs, and they release with the heat and it goes into the meat.
And as the juices from the pork slowly drip around.
What in God's good gracious is that?
It's a plane. It's a modern thing.
Okay. Carry on.
What would you rate this?
10. Man, he's really circling around there.
I can't talk. I'll be back. Well, Mish is back outside. That
Yep.
didn't last long. He went absolutely insane being cooped up inside.
He's actually laying right here in front of my feet.
Mhm.
He's laying on the ground. Mish, mish. You want to say hi? Come on. Okay, I guess not.
Yeah, he's just rolling around like a dog. Watch our last shoot chat. You'll see why we even tried to keep this wild beast inside. It's because someone shot him in the butt with a BB gun.
Mhm.
And this is the second time this has happened.
And it wasn't me.
No.
I didn't do it.
Of course not. And so last year he came home and he was in pain and we could tell. And it was the exact same place, by the way,
Mhm.
right above his tail.
Yeah.
So someone is shooting him while he's sitting down eating or doing something and just being horrible. So we said, okay, this is it. The second time we're gonna keep him inside. He can't be an outdoor cat anymore. I think it's one of the neighbors that's doing this. Well, that didn't last long. He freaked out.
I think he made it like 3 days cooped up and that was it.
He could not be inside.
He's gonna climb himself out of the chimney.
Yeah, he goes absolutely psycho when he's contained, like in a way I've never seen any other cat act. But so here's the thing, okay, Ron and I were so close to finally moving out.
Mhm.
So close. Maybe a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
Although you won't see it until after little Ronnie is here.
Right.
We're gonna still keep filming at the cabin until then. But in our private lives, we're going to move out in a couple more weeks. We're taking Mish Mish with us. He is going to have to be an indoor cat.
Yeah.
He cannot be an outdoor cat at our new place.
They got too many farm dogs just running through the properties out
Right.
there.
Yeah, there's way too many of these like wild dogs that are just roaming around there.
And the big problem with that is we don't really have any trees close to our house.
Yeah, he can't hide. He can't run away.
They're 50 yards from the house.
So now he is going to have to be an indoor cat, whether he likes it or not.
He won't like it.
He won't like it.
But there's 3 levels though. There's the basement, main floor, and upstairs. So if he's being too
Horrible.
much, we can just put him in the basement.
It's a big basement. It has windows. But
Yes.
he'll calm down in there
Mish, Mish, come
for an
up here, say
hour
hi.
or two.
Come on. Come up here.
But he just goes psycho whenever he's contained.
He loves being outside. I
Yeah.
wish you could see him right now. He's just like on the ground like this, looking up at the sky. Come here, buddy. You want to say hi to anybody? Let's go. Come on.
I would give this a 10 out of 10 too.
Come here. Ah, you're getting too fat. You're getting too
There's
fat.
Mish.
There he is. So he's all dirty. He's been rolling around like a dog.
There's a lot of planes out right now.
Yeah, something going on.
We have to be outside. It's so hot in there. And I'm 35 weeks pregnant now.
Yes, 35 weeks. So we got roughly 5 more weeks to go.
Yeah, give or take. You know, I'm going to go with this thing until little Ronnie's ready to come out. That could be 40 weeks. That could be 42 weeks. It could be 38 weeks. I don't know.
I hope it ain't 35 weeks.
Oh yeah. Funny, not so funny story. You were born at 35 weeks.
I was ready to come out. I was done cooking.
Yeah, he was done cooking. So,
I think
sorry, a little.
I'm done eating. I'm ready to eat one of these now.
Oh, okay.
I'll try this one.
Okay.
Look at that. Isn't that just pretty?
That is so pretty.
And this is strawberry.
Homemade strawberry jam. Following a recipe from the year 1800 for strawberry jam,
That is sweet.
but good.
Intense.
It tastes like the red fruit roll-ups.
You're right.
Yeah, whatever that is. But it has that intense berry sweet flavor.
I think those are fruit punch.
Flavored? Okay.
That is good.
It's really, really good. It makes me want to try, talking modern now, like a homemade Pop-Tart style pastry and put this on the inside of it and
You
bake
could.
it. Yeah, that'd be really, really good.
You know, we've made some really good pastries this year so far. This is one of them. The other one is those apple puffs.
Oh, yeah, those were really, really good.
Fantastic job.
Thank you. What would you rate the strawberry jam, which I turned into tarts? He's just eating. He can't talk right now. It's one of those deals. He needs a moment too. Goodness gracious, man.
A big bite. 20 out of 10.
20 out of 10.
That's really good.
That's really good.
You gonna eat that last one?
No, I'm just gonna finish off the one I already half ate. But, so like, the recipes for jam back in the early 1800s and the 18th century from what I've seen, every time I've seen them, it's just the most straightforward process ever. You just get the fruit, and if it's something that has skin on it, you know, you remove the skin, but then you simmer it with sugar until it's super thick, like a jam. And then you have jam. And that's it. That's end of story.
Well, why do they use pectin today then?
I have a theory on that. I think it's cheaper. Because it took, I want to say maybe 4 cups, or maybe even 5 cups of strawberries to make enough jam for these 3 tarts.
Oh, so by the time you cook it down to the consistency is what you're saying?
Yeah.
You lose the product.
Yeah, you lose a lot of the fruit. It really concentrates it. Now, I've heard some people say, whoa, you know, back then they made their own pectin out of apple cores. I have personally never, ever, ever found a period recipe for that. I'm sure some guy somewhere did it.
Some scientists.
Yeah, some scientist somewhere did that. I don't think that's a real historic method though. I think it might have been like an experimental thing that maybe some guy did every once in a while, because I have hundreds of these jam recipes saved on my modern computer and none of them call for doing that.
In the ye old journal.
Yeah, in my ye old flip top notebook. So I think that in reality, this was just the way people made jam, because it was super simple. I mean, back in the day when you had 10 kids to feed and you had to cook like over a fire every day, you didn't have the time or the pleasure of playing around with science experiments, making pectin from apple cores. I mean, you just didn't have time to do that kind of stuff when you could have just boiled the fruit down with sugar.
Yeah, that sounds very complicated. Even today, I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah, you wouldn't really, yeah, you know. If you can do it, it's really, really neat, but this is the period correct way of making jam for 99% of people.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Don't try to reinvent the wheel if you ain't
Exactly,
got to.
don't try to reinvent the
jam.
wheel. It's just jam.
Now, if you're mass producing and selling jars at a market, sure, you're probably gonna try to yield as much as you can use pectin,
Yeah.
but
I think it's a pretty cool experiment.
to try this receipt, which by the way, if you want to see Justine make this receipt, please go over to our main channel. That's Early American. Over there we cook it
and here we eat it.
And you can find the receipts or recipes as they were called back then, or I'm sorry, the recipes or receipts as they were called back then at the end of every video. I get a lot of questions every week still yet. People don't know where to find the original receipt, but it's posted at the end of every video. It's always been that way. And you actually translate it in the first top comment of the video as well.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just give up and I don't do it.
This one probably doesn't need it.
Yeah, that's true.
Self-explanatory. Roast meat over fire. Make jelly. Bake it. Eat it.
Just wash yourself some strawberries, whatever, raspberries, blueberries, what other kind of fruit you want.
Berry melody.
Ooh, you could combine them. That would be great. And then put it in a stew pot with equal weight sugar, or a little less if you really don't like it very sweet. And then stew it down until it's very thick, and mash it with a spoon every once in a while to get the solids out. That'll take 20 to 30 minutes tops on low heat. And then if you don't like the seeds, which is what we did in our case, I ran it through a fine sieve. Back in this time period, sieves were made out of horsehair. And then you have jam.
Yep, you got jam.
It's that simple.
Seedless jam.
Seedless jam. Or if you don't care about the seeds, just whatever. Just skip the sieve
Sometimes it doesn't bother me, but for this, I probably would bother me. If it's just spreading on a little bit on toast, but this is pretty thick on here, so you would be eating a lot of seeds, but that's why we did it. Well, hey, there's an event coming up here soon in St. Genevieve called the French Heritage Festival. That is on June 14th. Our good friend Aaron, who's the tourism director for St. Genevieve, came by a couple weeks ago and talked to you guys about that. Just wanted to reiterate that that is going to be coming up soon, and it's a free event. And if you've always wanted to experience St. Genevieve and some of its cultural activities, be sure to come down.
There's going to be a ball that evening too.
I do believe you have to buy tickets for that.
Okay.
Yep.
They've never done it like this before, so this is going to be an experience that we can all try together.
Yep. So if you've come in the past, it's been spread out 2 days through the whole town, and it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on. So this year they've consolidated it down to the historic district inside of St. Genevieve, and just a Saturday, June 14th.
Yes. Okay, I want the rest of me tart.
I was waiting for you.
Me tart.
Speaking of that event, word on the street is that General Lafayette is going to make an appearance in St. Genevieve as well during the opening ceremonies.
The General.
I don't know if he's coming to the ball, but Marquis de Lafayette is coming to St. Genevieve.
Oh my. I'll make sure I take a bath the night before.
I'll be sure to shave.
Yeah.
Actually, we're actually making the coat for the guy to wear.
Right.
They called and said, hey, do we have any kind of clothes we can you know, come up with to create a Lafayette character? And I said, well, I got this old coat that ain't being used in the closet. I can cut it up and I can add some lapels to it and some cuffs and stuff. So I chopped it up, and it's about halfway done. So I gotta put the buttons on it and do the finishing touches. So it's fun to be part of a project, I guess.
Ron is the Halloween costume designer.
You need a costume? I'm your guy. I got you.
Yeah, and he'll do it for a $5 budget the night before.
It looks good enough from 20 foot away.
Right.
He'll be way up there on the steps in the opening ceremony, and the spectators will be down far enough they won't notice it's machine.
From far away.
Notice it's been machine stitched.
Oh, that's so naughty of you. Speaking of sewing, I officially do not fit into any of my 18th century clothes anymore. I'm wearing 19th century clothes right now.
You can get away with that because the waistline is right below the bust.
Waist, yeah. But in our private lives, we also do Rev War reenacting, and a lot of the events around here are 18th century. So I don't fit into any of it anymore. I'm 8.5 months with child, so I ordered some fabric, some linen, and I'm going to try to sew myself what's called a bed jacket, which was kind of the equivalent of sweatpants in the 18th century. The most comfortable clothes that women could have worn. Very, very popular among working class women, and also popular among American women, because it was so ungodly hot in this country that they thought it was the breeziest, most flowy, loose-fitting garment. And I'm going to attempt to sew one in the next couple weeks. I just got the fabric today.
Yeah, because we've got 2 big events coming up. Besides the French Heritage Festival, we're going to try to go to Vincennes.
We've never been to Vincennes.
But here's the catch. We are on such a tight timeline with our house and our craziness in our lives that we have to leave that morning, get there, and then experience it that day as much as we can, and then drive back the same day. And it's a little over 4 hours, I think, from here to there. So it's a long, hard day for a 35-month pregnant woman and a beaten down husband who's been slaving away on the house. So maybe I make a crazy little short video of this mad dash to Vincennes and back. And
although I do have a feeling that I might just collapse and say, Ron, we have to get a hotel that night, because I cannot come back that same night. There's no way. I mean, we've done crazy things before.
Yeah. But
we have.
But if we don't have it done by then, we'll probably have it done for sure by the rendezvous at Fort de Chard. Yep.
We've been working on the house every day.
We have, and we finally got power. All right, we got the outlets done in here. We're gonna test it for the first time. I got some stuff that I had to rake out, so here we go. Finally. You guys probably think, why are you talking about modern stuff? Who cares? You know, don't you live in this cabin with no power? Blah, blah, blah. Well, in today's world, if you ain't got power, it's a big deal. So we finally got power, and it's a big deal. Now we have running water operable inside the house.
After 2 years.
We have
2
lights.
years.
I've been putting up light fixtures. I've been putting in switches and outlets and all that. I've been holding off on it because we've been trying to do other things, and now that the power's hooked up, I went through and knocked all that stuff out. It's a house of many chandeliers. I think so far we're up like 13 chandeliers dangling from the ceilings in this house.
It sounds crazy. How in the world do you have, I think it's 11.
So far, but we got the foyer still to go.
It's like, how do you have 11 chandeliers? Well, because we don't have any lamps in our house.
Yeah, and we didn't buy any like hard fixed lights on the ceiling. Everything dangles.
Is a dangly
so
thing.
there's
So the bathroom has the bathrooms have chandeliers. The kitchen has 3 chandeliers. We're talking small things. We're not talking like a grand crystal chandelier.
Right. We're
talking like a medieval looking metal.
medieval. It's a lantern.
A lantern. Yeah, basically that's what we're calling
it's still a
chandelier. Yeah, it is still technically a chandelier. But finally, after 2 years, we have electricity. Why did it take us 2 years? Because, excuse me.
Indigestion.
Because, let me put this down so I can talk. We are completely off grid. I like that.
Okay.
I just needed to talk for a second. We're completely off grid, okay? We had an electrician from the power company come by 2 years ago.
Before we even started digging.
Yeah, because usually people get the electricity hooked up and then they start building their house, not the other way around if you've ever done this process before. The guy literally looked at me and said, if I was you, I would just go solar. Because getting electricity back here, he said it would have cost you about $15,000.
And you have to cut all your trees, and then you're gonna have to get an easement from both neighbors because our driveway has a choke point to get back to the property.
Yep.
But the power has to come down the driveway.
So we needed 2 easements, which are not guaranteed to happen because we would have to chop down the neighbors' trees as well.
And usually people want a little bit of money for that too.
So we realized we cannot get electricity. Which is okay in a way, because I always wanted to be off-grid ever since I was a little girl.
Until we built a house and it's like, man, this is hard.
This is hard. I was kind of starting to act like a cave woman being out there. I mean, it feels crazy having a toilet and a sink.
You were the first one to use the toilet.
I was, and you were the second one.
I was.
Yeah, welcome to the modern world. But we had to build a whole barn that's the size of the house in order to put the solar panels on the roof of the barn. So that really held us back, because normally you picture like 10 guys building a barn. No. With some help from your dad. Yeah.
He showed up at the end.
Yeah, he showed up at the end to help us.
I sheeted the entire barn by myself with a rope and pulling 4x8 sheets of 1/2-inch plywood up to the top. And
you and me would be on one end, and then I would be holding this massive heavy board on the other end. And this is before I was pregnant, by the way. But it was hard, but we finally have the solar panels hooked up. You can't even tell that they're there.
Nope.
They're hidden.
And we've got enough power. We've got 10,000 watts.
Yeah, that's enough for us.
Yep, that's enough for us.
That is.
You know, I looked up what was the first house to be powered by electric. In 1882, the Hearthstone House in Appleton, Wisconsin, it was built to be equipped with electric, and it's known to be the first house to have electric in it.
Wow, I bet back then they did not trust it.
Probably not. They were probably leery of it, but you go from a dark world from oil lamps and candles to light bulbs now.
Wow.
Like, I'm not saying they were plugging in vacuum cleaners or had refrigerators, because none of that existed yet, but light bulbs did exist. So that was a big change to go from dark to light with the flip of a switch.
You don't even want to know what the vacuums were like back then.
We actually seen one at a
horrible
an antique mall a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a cylinder with a plunger.
Right, and it vacuums 1 inch of the carpet at a time.
Yeah, design flaw. They had it funneled down into a circle. Well, they should have had it like a rectangle shape so you can actually drag it across the carpet, but you really have to like put it on each little piece and
they were trying to figure it out. There were so many different vacuum designs. Okay, so let's talk about something. We're so close to moving into our house. I cannot believe it. It's already been 1 year since we've gotten married.
Yes, and if you guys watched the show last week, I think it was, we put out with you in chat, we were talking about our wedding video that we put up. Well, Big Brother has spoken and slapped our hand.
And took it down.
And took it down on us. So you can't see it anymore, and we're not going to re-upload it because you'll get penalized.
Yeah, but we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew. So on Early American, we had a wedding documentary called My Big Fat 18th Century Wedding, which followed our wedding planning, prep, and the day of, and then a little bit of our honeymoon. It was about 2 hours long.
Yep.
And the thing is, we couldn't find this video anywhere. It was not on the internet. It had been taken down after, I think, 3 months. The company was like, they seemed to be gone. They hadn't updated their social media in almost a year. The
company that produced it, not their legal name, but the streaming service, if you will, the website's vacant. There's nothing on it.
There's nothing on it.
They haven't done anything on their social at all. But they've apparently have since passed those rights on from our wedding documentary to another place called Salem or something like that.
We didn't know that. So I didn't know about that
until... I guess you can go over there and see it if you want to watch it.
But you have to pay money.
I have no idea what they're going to charge, but it can't be worse than where it originally was because it was crashing and people were complaining, well, rightfully so, because they're paying money to see it, and it just wasn't set up good at all. So that's why Big Brother slapped our hand, because apparently they put it somewhere, but they didn't tell us it was anywhere. So
yeah, they didn't.
We were just trying to get it out to show people and celebrate with y'all because it was our 1 year. But
they didn't tell us that they sold the rights to our wedding video to a company called Salem.
You know, the funny thing is,
we didn't know that.
We're actually executive producers of that show because we paid for some of the crap, and
we have no rights to it. Our own wedding video, we have no rights to it.
You know, the funny thing is, the guy said, how many DVDs you want? You can sell them and keep the money. So what's the difference in me putting it on YouTube and not even making money? We weren't making money off of it on YouTube.
It was not monetized.
So, what's the difference in that?
Oh, it was quite the ordeal when they found out that I had uploaded it, which was about a week later.
You know, we got like 30 copies of them DVDs. What if I start burning DVDs and selling them at the local farmer's market?
Farmer's market.
Hey, apparently you gave me permission a year ago when you said, how many DVDs you want? You want like 100 or 500?
And they only gave us like 20 of them at the end of the day. But anyway, it was quite the ordeal when they found out that I had uploaded this. I got very angry text messages. They
acted as if this was the Titanic motion picture and they were losing so much by us putting up, and it was in a reactive or review form anyways. We were on the screen the whole time, and we were coming in between the episodes. There was 4 episodes, and giving our review about it. So I don't know.
It's a little crazy because it's our wedding, so it's just weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, the guy was very upset with me. He said, at one point he said, "Are you okay? Is there something wrong with you? Because this is really mean." And I'm just thinking, to share my own wedding video
in a review format.
In a review format on YouTube 1 year after it was filmed. It was, personally, we've decided that we're never working with these people again.
Yeah.
Kind of regret it, to be honest. They just sold the rights to our wedding video to someone without even telling us, and it was kind of scummy, sorry.
So anyways,
it got taken down.
I think roughly 65,000 people got to see it, so if you're one of them, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. We knew that. So the guy emailed me maybe 6 months ago, and that's kind of the last I ever heard from him, actually. And he said, "Hey, great news. Our company is working with this company, Believe Plus. No, this company, Salem." And I said, "Okay, sounds good." And that's the last I heard from him. But he never told me I sold the rights to your wedding to Salem.
Well, before
he never said that.
Before that, it had been 6 months, because that was Christmas time. I think I even told you. I said, "Hey, you should, message that guy and tell him Merry Christmas and see what's going on, because we haven't heard from him in 6 months." And then he like popped in for like there at 24 hours that day, and he was gone. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
we're not working with them anymore. We're
we're
gonna
not.
do our own thing.
No. We only did one time work with him. It was for that wedding.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't afford to hire someone to film our wedding.
Well, I've seen the quality, so I'm not impressed.
So he approached us and he was like, well, we can film your wedding for you. And so for free, you know, and so they filmed the wedding, and the contract said that you will have the rights to, like, you can have the individual clips of the wedding if you want to. Okay, apparently not, because after the wedding we asked him for the individual clips.
We just got clips of the ceremony
of
only,
trees,
and there was clips of the ceremony, but there's no audio.
There's no audio
because they record the audio separate, because everybody was on wireless mics. But I don't want to stay on this too long. It ticks me off. But
yeah.
But anyways, that's the ordeal. That's why it's gone and not there anymore. So if you do want to track it down, I guess go to Salem.com.
I don't know. It's a website I've never heard of.
Streaming
personally.
service.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Who wants to go first? Weird history or cool history? Who went first last time?
You.
Then you go first this time.
Okay.
All right. Are you guys ready for?
Let me take one bite of this.
Are you guys ready for this week's cool history fact?
Boom. Okay. I don't really have too much written down here,
That's like 2 sentences.
but I have a lot of pictures to share with you. The 1800s and the 1700s had some very interesting guns.
Yes, they did.
People were experimenting with these ways of killing each other, in ways that it blows my mind. The weirdest looking guns you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But I came across something called a key pistol.
Pistol.
A key. K-E-Y. Like, you know, you open a door with a key. And I was instantly intrigued looking at this. And I thought, this is a gun? Why is it shaped like a key? So key pistols, the earliest one is still around is from the 17th century. And they were still in production until about the 1840s.
Oh, wow.
So they had over, you know, like a 200-year-old run, which is a long time. It's a long time, especially for a strange novelty kind of thing like this. So why in the world was this pistol shaped like a key? Was it actually a key?
So it didn't actually work like a key, though?
It was a key.
Oh, it was a key.
It was. So the intended use was for jailers.
Oh.
And prison wardens to use as self-defense or for sounding an alarm, just to make a noise.
Okay, I was thinking maybe somebody's at your door and it's a bad guy and you stick it through there and shoot him, but the jail thing makes way more sense.
Well, it has a key has to fit into a lock.
Right.
You know, so you can't just put any old key into any old lock. So back in the day, like the 18th century, early 1800s, if you were going to a cool, trendy prison, the cells had locks that were especially made to fit with these key guns.
Okay.
And this right here is a surviving example of a lock that still has the matching key pistol with it.
Wow. I guess it's a one shot and that's it.
It's definitely a one shot. Okay, so yeah, there's a couple different ways you could have used this. You could have stuck it into the door and shot the guy through it, which is really mean.
If he's a bad guy, no.
Yeah. Or maybe you're in the cell with him and a fight breaks out and he tries to get you, blah, blah, blah. Maybe your primary weapon, you already shot it or whatever, it didn't work or it stalled, so you pull out the key pistol. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you just want a little tiny something to make a sound to alert the other jailers that you're in trouble. Then you shoot it off.
So maybe it's shooting like the size of a BB or something out
Maybe.
Because keys aren't very big.
Yeah, maybe.
It probably doesn't kill anybody, but it probably hurts.
Right. But as well as jailers, there's records of banks having these guns. So the vault lock would work with one of these key pistols. And also there's records of armories being protected by these strange key pistols. So they say that they're kind of rare.
I guess the point is you don't necessarily fire it when it's in the keyhole because the bad guy might be behind you. Like if you're in a bank robbery situation. But if you're walking to the vault, well, you don't have a gun and the robber's not gonna let you grab a gun. But if you're just casually grabbing your key that happens to be a gun and you, then you can get away with your life. And
right.
So
they look very light for a gun.
Well, yeah, it's just like a key.
Yeah, they look, some of them are more intricate than others for sure. But online it said that these were very rare, but I found like 20 examples of them that have survived. So I'm not sure really, were they that rare or were they more common? I'm not sure, but just a very peculiar pistol.
So if you find a key at an antique mall, it has a hollow hole all the way down it.
A barrel. And
I guess it has to have a trigger.
Yeah, of some sort.
Then you got yourself a key gun. They'd be like, yeah, it's this weird key, $5. You want it?
Oh yeah. If you can get it for $5, you become rich, because I'm sure that they go for quite a lot if they're genuine. You know, if they're genuine, because there's a lot of fakes, a lot of fake reproductions of period weapons on eBay and silly stuff like that.
I think I want one for a collection.
I'll keep an eye out, but good luck.
My goal, once we add on to our house years from now, to have my study, I want to have a wall that opens up like, you know, very like, I'll just say like a FBI agent in a movie, like his home, like, you know, the floor lifts up and there's like stairs going down. Well, I want to have like all these really cool stuff like behind the wall, behind the bookcase that comes out.
Oh, that's cool. Like Batman's Bat Cave?
Yes, but like 250 years ago style.
I've always been fascinated by hidden rooms and hidden staircases and secret vaults and things like that.
Maybe the doorway going into the study, the other wing of the house, could be the bookcase and you have to move the bookcase.
You're literally telling them this, so now they know.
Never mind.
Never mind. JK.
I don't want a study.
We don't want a study. What study? What are you talking about?
I don't have bookcases.
Yeah, and then the cops show up and there's like this entire wing of your house that they can't
How do you get in there?
Get it. That doesn't exist, officer. I don't know what you're talking about.
It looks bigger on the outside than it does the inside. There's got to be a door here somewhere.
Okay, now it's your turn.
All right.
This week's weirdest history fact. Go.
Okay, now I don't know if this classifies as weird because it's actually pretty cool as well.
It's both.
Did you guys know that there were 3 George Washingtons living at the same time?
In the same house.
Yeah, in the same house. Not only in America, but in the same house.
At Mount Vernon.
Yes. And we're talking 1790s, by the way. So, there's George Washington, the farmer, the founding father, the general, the first president of the United States. He lived from 1732 to 1799. The second George Washington that would be staying there during the 1790s is his grandson, George Washington Parke Custis. Now that is his stepson's son. George Washington did not have any biological children. His wife Martha had a son and a boy, but it was from her previous marriage. So his stepson died, and then so the grandson, George Washington Parke Custis, went to live with Martha and George.
Okay.
George Washington Parke Custis lived from 1781 to 1857, and he was actually photographed.
Oh, cool.
And then the third George Washington that's living there under the same roof as the other two, as if it's not confusing enough already, is George Washington de Lafayette. That is Marquis de Lafayette's son. He named his son after General George Washington, whom he served under and with during the American Revolutionary War. George Washington Lafayette was born in 1779 and lived till 1849. So there was 3 George Washingtons living under the same roof in the same decade.
That's confusing.
It is confusing. You're like Big George, Medium George, Little George. Now I will say the funny thing is, George Washington de Lafayette, his name is spelled with an S at the end, so it looks like George is to us, but in French it's still pronounced as George. The S is silent. George.
You have a George Washington in your family.
I do.
Not the George Washington, unfortunately.
He is my, let's see, Hansel's my great. Then it was William would be. He's my 3rd great grandfather, George Washington Rayfield. And he actually had two other brothers. One's name was Benjamin Franklin Rayfield, and the other one's was Andrew Jackson Rayfield. I kid you not.
Yeah, we can't make this
This
up.
is true. And they had a couple of sisters as well, but their names are actually kind of strange. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but those were the three boys, and they were all named after patriotic founding fathers or founding figures. Really cool.
This is the 1800s we're talking about.
Yes, I think George Washington Rayfield was born in like around the Civil War time, maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe just either a little bit before it, 1855 maybe. But I think he lived till about 1900, 1900 something.
Wow.
First decade of the 20th century. So I never met him, but there is a photograph of him.
George Washington apparently used to be a common name.
Yeah, George W. Bush.
It's not common anymore.
If we have a second son, we shall name him George Washington Rayfield.
George Washington Rayfield. Not after the original, of course, after your ancestor.
Yeah.
How much do you want this kid to get bullied?
He's gonna be homeschooled, he won't get bullied.
Okay, true.
Oh, we can do a mashup and we'd be like George Benjamin Rayfield.
George is a very nice name.
It's a very proper sounding name.
It is a nice name. And
George!
And they wouldn't know unless they asked him his middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise he's just George Rayfield. What's your middle name? What is your middle name?
You don't know this?
No, I want them to know.
Oh, you want them? Okay. My middle name is Richard. Ronald Richard Rayfield III. My dad is junior and my grandfather is senior, so little Ronnie, who's going to be here in a month, is going to be Ronald Richard Rayfield IV.
And my middle name is Teresa.
It's Teresa, yes.
So I was thinking if I have a daughter someday, I will name her maybe Teresa Rose Rayfield.
It's a very pretty name.
Or Rose Teresa Rayfield. I haven't
Because you really
decided.
like the name Rose.
I really love the name Rose, and not because of the Titanic.
Now, I will say, my dad has the same name as me, but he goes by Richard. So, his first name ain't Richard. His first name is Ronald, but he goes by Richard. So, regardless whichever way you call them, you can call them whatever you want.
Yeah.
Hey, you! Get over here!
Yeah, if I have a daughter someday and I name her Teresa Rose, I can always just call her Rose.
Yeah.
Right. No one ever calls me by my middle name.
Unless you're in trouble. Justine Teresa Dorn, get in here this instant!
I have never been that in trouble.
That in trouble.
Yeah, that's like level 20 in trouble.
I have been that in trouble before.
Oh, man.
That's usually when the belt's out.
Yeah. So to distinguish between you and Little Ron, we're just going to call him Little Ron forever, I think.
Yeah.
He's always going to be Little Ron. Even if he ends up being 8 feet tall, he'll be Little Ron.
Well, you call me Ron. We can call him Ronald or Ronnie or Little Ron or...
Right.
That's kind of how we did it whenever me, my dad, and my grandfather were all in the same room. I was Little Ronald.
Oh, that's
and
so cute.
my grandpa went by Ron or Ronald, and then my dad always went by Rich or Richard. Usually it's Rich, but Richard officially.
That's very, very cute. So after this video, we are going to go back out to the property.
Yes.
And continue working on our house. Because it's like a 9 to 5 for us now.
We are in the middle of shellacking the floors. Very traditional method of sealing your floors. So we've been oiling the floors. We're using Danish oil. Gives the pine wood a real pretty color. We're only doing one coat because we want it to look natural. We don't want to have a dark room of dark colored wood. So the boards have turned out beautifully with the square head nails and the one coat of the Danish oil, and then we're going over it with a couple coats of shellac. It's show-stopping looking floor, if you ask me.
I believe that traditionally shellac was made with beetles.
Yep, beetles and some kind of resin or something,
Okay.
or maybe the beetles were the resin, I don't know. It was natural, that's all I know.
Right.
And it smells really strong. It's like somebody just gave you a shot of rum or something. It smells like rum, actually.
It's an alcohol-based product.
That's
so,
why it dries so dang fast.
Right.
You gotta work fast.
And I've been busy stenciling.
Yep.
So Ron's doing the actually important stuff, and I'm doing the art. But I figure, so here's the thing, it's like, okay, once the floors are done, which will be in a couple of days, we have to move the furniture where it's going to be.
Finally.
Finally, after 2 years. Well, if we move the furniture where it's going to be, And then later I say, but Ron, I want to stencil. Then we have to move the furniture away again.
Right.
So I don't want to deal with all that. We're just scratching and boogering up the floor, moving all the furniture.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to stencil now, at least the bedroom, so that once the furniture is in place, we don't have to keep moving it.
Right.
So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day.
Yes, it's a beautiful day. It's nice out here. Inside there, it's fire, it's hot.
It's very bad. It's very bad. But you know what? I have been able to handle it. The pregnancy has been going very well.
As good as it can go, anyway.
Yeah, as good as it can go. I feel more pregnant now, obviously, than I used to. I'm starting to get like the swelling that a lot of women get in their feet and legs, which is caused by fluid buildup. It's not too bad though. It's really not that bad. I still haven't bought any maternity clothes.
You still got 5 weeks to go.
Yeah. Now I'm sure the last 2 weeks will probably start to get pretty
That's when
hard.
you need to just relax.
Humbug.
Well, hey, before we go, there's one more event coming up. It is July 5th. It is the 249th Independence Day celebration here in St. Genevieve. If you want to come down and check it out, it's a free event. We're going to have Independence Day cake and cold ice water. There'll be musical performance. When I say that, I mean our good friend Anna will be singing the national anthem a cappella. She's a world-class, phenomenal singer. She sings in a professional choir, actually, so she knows what she's doing. She's very good. And we're going to have drum and fife performance, and we're going to have the St. Genevieve militia provide us with a salute with the muskets and fire a volley, and we're going to read the Declaration of Independence, and of course George Washington is going to be there. So come on down to St. Genevieve.
Wait, which George Washington?
Jeff Baggett. Our good friend Jeff Baggett is going to be portraying... Oh, you mean on this?
Yeah, because there were three...
The George Washington! General George Washington.
They're going to be so disappointed if they come all the way and it's George Washington Rayfield.
He's dead.
Oh, well then maybe they
so
won't
was the other one.
They won't be disappointed. They'll be ghost hunters and they'll make a documentary out of it.
But the general will be here on July 5th in St. Genevieve, and that is happening behind the Bold Duke House. The best way to get there is just Google Center for French Colonial Life, park in the parking lot, and walk down, I don't know, 50 foot.
50 feet. You'll know where to go.
Yeah. Just follow the crowd.
Exactly.
All right, well, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go head to the estate and get back to work. So thank you guys for being here. We love you guys. We appreciate everything, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
We appreciate you. We'll see you in a few weeks. Goodbye, guys.
Bye-bye.